I'm a vampire. You can't see me anyway.
All right. Well, now the fun is beginning. Now, if we look on the Masnisin, Mem Tet Nun Yed, see on the top over there. Now we're going to be talking about if you have a lost object, how do you take care of it? In what way can you take care of it, or should you take care of it while you're waiting for the owner? Because you're supposed to do that. Matzah Svarim. If you find books, now books, what they're talking about here is the way they used to write books is they took parchment and they would write it on scrolls. Right. They don't have printing nowadays. But if you find those scroll, like a Megillat Esther, you should read it once every 30 days. Meaning you have to open it up and read it, because you got to give it some air. In fact, when the scribe was here, my friend, Rabbi, not a rabbi just yet, really, but it's very knowledgeable. Yitzchak Friedman. He told me, he said, we really should, for all of our Torah scrolls.
Oh, we should.
Every once in a while, take them and air them out and read them, because or else it dries up. You gotta give it some air. So it says over here, once every 30 days, you gotta give it some air. But suppose you don't know how to read. Golalan, you roll them. You roll them, meaning you roll them out. You don't have to actually read it. But you should not learn something new from the Torah scroll, and another person shouldn't read with you. Why? Because then you're going to do it for too long. You're going to do it for too long. You're going to start, you don't want to overuse it. And also, if another person is with you, you're going to start, arguing and doing this and Rashi. Yeah, exactly. And he says it's also afraid, someone, they might start tugging on the scroll a little bit, and they might tear it. They might spill coffee. If you don't have a whole party with other people, so you don't want to get damaged. Yes. Matzah, no one spilled coffee on these sheets there. Matzah ksus minara echad l'shloshim yom. If you find a piece of clothing, you shake it out once every 30 days. Shake it out, give it some air. And you can spread it out on the floor for its own needs, but don't do it for your needs. Don't do it for your honor. Don't do it.
On the floor?
Meaning, don't wear it for your honor. Don't use it. Don't use it for yourself.
You put it on a table, not on the floor.
Unless it sucks.
If you don't have a
Socks,
table.
you don't do that.
You don't have a table on your
If it
bag.
sucks, then you don't have to do that.
Right, I don't think it.
Put it on the floor.
Usually you say, Right, so let's say you have something from Ralph Lauren, and you want to show it off on the table, and so
You put it in the window. You put it out on the window.
That's right.
right. People to show everybody that I have these expensive, clothing.
You found it in somebody
Don't wear it
else's
to a party.
No, don't wear it. Don't wear it.
Don't wear it to a party.
No.
If you have silver or copper vessels, you can use them according to their needs. But don't use them for a long time. Meaning you use them every now and then, but don't use them for a long time, because they're going to get on. You have to use them, but
Silver?
not too much. That's silver or copper. But but gold or glass, lo yiga behen until Mashiach comes. You don't touch them.
Okay.
Because glass and gold, they're very valuable.
They're
very valuable. Glass will break, and they're also, they don't need it. They don't rust.
Not chip.
That's why gold is so valuable.
Soft.
Everyone's looking for gold.
And it's soft too, so it
Yes.
can't harm easily.
Yes, we're going to get into that. At the glass, it's very easy to break. And at the end, we're going to learn some advice about glass.
Friday night dinner.
Matzah, exactly, like Martin's on Friday night. Matzah sako kuba. If you find a sack or a box, l'chol davar she'ein darko litol, and something that it's not the way of a person to take, harei zelo yitol, don't take it. Meaning, if you find in the street a dirty bag, or a box, or just something that people don't usually walk around with, it's disgraceful, you're not supposed to pick it up. It's actually a law that we're going to learn about, that if it's a disgrace for you to pick it up, it's not within your honor, if you feel that it's not within your honor to pick it up, you're not supposed to pick it up. So if there's something on the ground that if you're walking with it in the streets, people go, what's going on? What's that guy doing? Then you don't have to pick it up. You don't have to do. It's learned out from a verse that's not required.
these positions, like you find gold or glass or something, how long do you keep it then until? I mean, is there?
Well, we learned that out last.
So it's until somebody can go to and from.
Last week, in these types of things, you can put it away forever. Last week we learned, 2 weeks ago, we learned all about if you find an animal, how long do you have to take care of it before you can sell it. And some things you sell it and you keep the money.
But forever means that it never becomes.
So glass or gold, you have to just put it away. And you put it away and you leave it there forever.
But it still, you still doesn't belong to you.
No.
It doesn't belong to you.
You can't use it.
You can't
Until
use
it
it.
gets resolved.
You don't use it. You just put it away. Put it in a box, and until someone comes to claim it, until Mashiach comes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now, Amar Shmuel. Now we got a fun case, and this could actually really happen.
Who's
Shmuel was an Amoraic sage who was of the first generation. He was a contemporary of Rav. Rav was the first generation, like after Rebbe, after Rabbi Nasi, so around 200 CE, 250. He never officially got smicha. It's a funny thing. He never officially got, but he was extremely knowledgeable.
Several of these
So, yeah.
never got sneaked.
Yeah, they were just people who learned, and a lot of these people were businessmen, and also, and they learned. Absolutely. So Amar Shmuel. So Shmuel said, "Hamotzei tefillin bashuk, some demand and manich on the altar." So if you find tefillin in the marketplace, what you should do is you should evaluate their money, meaning sell them to a scribe or whatever, and then you put away the money. So he says that's what you should do. You shouldn't keep it around. Masiv Ravina asks the sage Ravina. Ravina is actually one of the latest.
One of the latest.
One of the latest. He closed the Talmud.
Closed
So
the
coming
Gemara.
exactly. Right. He was one who wrote it. So
Ravashi and Ravina.
Ravashi and Ravina. So imagine this all, I don't know, 500 years later, Ravina looks at this statement of Shmuel, and he says, wait a minute, I don't understand something. The Mishnah says, Matzah Svarim Kari Behanechad L'Shloshim Yom. If you find books, you take them out, air them out once every 30 days. Vim Eino Yodeh Likros Golalan. And if you don't know that you roll it, Golalan in some Manichin Lo. So if you find these objects that might wear away, you should roll them.
How come not for tefillin?
Namakam not for tefillin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good question.
Amar Abaye tefillin beibar chavu mashkach shchichi svarim lo shchichi. He says because in that time it was very common to find tefillin. If you have the money, you can easily go get the tefillin back. And if someone identifies the tefillin, you can go get the tefillin. You could get him a same pair of tefillin. But so therefore you don't have to take care of the tefillin. But svarim, but books in that time were not common. They were rare. You had to write them all out by hand.
Okay.
So therefore, you had to keep that because just because you sold a book doesn't mean it would be around. So obviously, I don't think this would actually, apply today. I mean, because books as far as rolling them and doing everything. I mean, I don't think you have to do that for
Air them
books
out.
to air them out today. I mean, nowadays we different printing. But if you find a Megillah Esther, if you find a scroll, then you would have to air it out, and you shouldn't sell it. Okay.
Do you think back then or earlier, tefillin was the cost of tefillin, but the same ratio as income
might have,
now? Or
you
do
know,
think they're
I mean,
cheaper or more expensive?
Tefillin can still, wear away. I
Yeah.
mean,
I was just curious about value compared to
it's
someone's
probably the
average
same value as us
Yeah.
now because they write it scrolled. Same type of economics would apply. Tana Rabbanan, Hashol Sefer Torah Mechavero. If you borrow a Sefer Torah from your friend, Hareza Lo Yashilenu La'acher. You should not lend it out to someone else. Post Chovet Korebo, you may open it and read it. Uvilvad Shelo Yilmod Bo Batchila V'Lo Yikra Acher Imo. Just you shouldn't learn something new from the Sefer Torah, and another person shouldn't read it with you because it might get damaged.
Why would you borrow it?
So hold on, it's coming. Mafkid Sefer Torah Tzachavero. So to someone who deposits, meaning someone says, "Here, watch my Sefer Torah for me." Gololo kol 12 chodesh. You should roll it out every 12 months. Post chovet korebo, and you should open it up and read from it. Im bishvilo pascho aser. But if you did it for yourself, if you opening it for yourself, it's forbidden. Simchas Omar b'chodesh B'chadash shloshim yom, for a new Sefer Torah, it needs 30 days. B'yashan, but for an old Sefer Torah, they last longer. Shnei masar chodesh, 12 months. You should roll it out every 12 months for the deposited Sefer Torah. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Omer, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov says, Echad zeh v'echad zeh shnei masar chodesh, both of these 12 months. Okay, so we have the law of borrowing it. Go ahead and read it. And at least it says immediately you shouldn't learn something new, or another person shouldn't read it with you. And for depositing the Sefer Torah, we have an argument whether you should roll it out every 12 months, or if it makes a difference whether it's new, that you would do it once every 30 days. All right, now, 2 dots. You ever see the 2 dots? Now we're on the beginning of the line. Amar Mar. Amar Mar, everyone see that? On the beginning. Amar Mar, Hashoel Sefer Torah Mechavera. The master said, it means someone in the Beit Medrash, they don't know the name. Just Mar, it's like Mr. Hashoel Sefer Torah Mechavera, Hareza Lo Yashilenu La'acher. Says if you borrow a Sefer Torah from his friend, you do not lend it out to someone else. My your Sefer Torah, Filu Kol Mili Nami. Why? I mean, we all know that. If someone gives you something to borrow, you can't lend it out. Why is it we mention it specifically by Sefer Torah? The Amar Rav Shimon ben Lakish, Kanshana Rebbe, Rav Shimon Lakish said, that Rebbe taught here, Ein HaShoel Rashai Lahashil. The Shoel, the borrower, is not allowed to lend it out. Ve'ein HaSocher Rashai Lahazker. If someone rented something to you, you can't rent it. Sefer Torah, it's Trichale. It says that we have to know, because we have to know specifically by a Torah. It's important. You might think to yourself, it's a good thing that someone wants to do a mitzvah with his money.
Right.
The answer is Kamash Malan, no. You're not allowed to lend it out. You might think, but I'm doing a mitzvah, giving him Sefer Torah, and he can learn from it. The answer is no, you cannot lend it out. Yes, because it's not yours. Poscho v'korevo says like when you borrow it, you're allowed to open it and read it. So pshita, of course, you're allowed to read from it. It's obvious. Why would you borrow it from him? Of course you are allowed to read from it. The answer is says you're right, but it's stated that obvious fact to teach you the next thing, something that was a novel insight, that you shouldn't learn something new from it. So when you learn a Sefer Torah, I don't think this would apply to a Sefer. That's not as easily damaged, but a Sefer Torah, if you just say to someone, I want to borrow a Sefer Torah from you, the typical thing is that he's telling you to read, that you want to read what it says in the Torah. Presumably you know and you've learned what it says in the Torah and just reading it, like to learn from it. But if you're learning something that you've never learned before, and that's the way, by the way, they used to learn. I don't know if they had chumishes, they had Sefer Torahs that they just learned, and they learned Torah. But unless you explicitly get permission, you're not supposed to, if you just borrows the Sefer Torah, you're not supposed to learn something new from it, because he didn't give you permission to do that, because that's going to cause it to be damaged. Sefer Torahs are expensive. So that's what the Brisa was trying to teach us. All right?
So if you do want to learn something new from
You have to ask him. You have to say, I'm going to borrow the Sefer Torah, and I'm going to be learning new things from it, or I'm going to be reading it with others. Is that okay?
So if you ask him, that's okay.
That's
Yeah.
the borrowed one, but this is lost objects, so you found it,
Oh.
you have it, you can't ask anybody because you don't know who it belongs to.
Right, so this is a case of borrowing. In the case of the lost objects, as we learned, you definitely don't learn something new.
Yes.
You just roll it out, and once every 30 days, you just have a little read,
Yes.
Exactly.
But borrowing, you can ask.
I'm not sure
Well, obviously, yes.
what possibilities are to find a Sefer Torah
I-
lying around
uh-huh.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's...
And also, it's not even easy to borrow one. How many people own the Sefer Torah?
Well, usually they're borrowed from shuls. I think our shul has one on loan.
Yeah, but not to an individual, not a whole other shul, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It could happen that, you borrow, like an individual is going away, wants to make a
It's
minyan.
not that common.
Is bringing it to,
Start a new community?
not starting a new community, just like that, they're going on a retreat somewhere, and
Okay.
they want to,
Mhm.
So, for a Sefer Torah, you should insure it, really, unless you really trust him, he has to, but yeah.
And then
All right,
a bear comes and you run away, and then you forget where you left the Sefer Torah, and then somebody finds it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Every-
Very
anything-
unlikely, but sure.
Anything's possible. Yes. You'd be surprised. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's
probably World War II, that was,
yeah.
that must have been,
Actually, yeah, absolutely. You know, you just find Sefer Torahs lying around.
yeah, synagogues that were raided, and people
Uh-huh.
left, and
The
they
ones
were
that- the ones that
burned
didn't
Right.
burn.
Were they
Yeah.
despaired from it? Maybe. You
Yeah.
know, probably.
Yeah.
V'chein, all right, everyone got it.
They cut
V'chein.
them for the museum, the end of the Jewish Race Museum.
Mm-hmm. Everyone see v'chein. V'chein, amafkid Sefer Torah tzchaver golol kol shnei masar chodesh. If you deposit a Sefer Torah by your friend, you have to roll it out every 12 months. Poscha v'korbo. You should open it and read it. My avidite gabe. What's it? It's saying that you can open it and read it. It sounds like it's saying, you know, for your needs, you can do it. So first of all, Vasui bishvilo paschasa. So first you're telling me you can open it and you can read it. So, and if you're telling me it's for your needs, then we just learned that it says you can't use it for your needs, right? So ha'amart poscho v'koribo. So ha'amart poscho v'koribo. So in other words, first of all, what's it doing? There's a Rashi over here. He says, what is this even concerning? You know, like you're telling me you have to roll it out. You have to roll it out. So that's what you have to do for the Sefer Torah's needs. So why are you saying that you should open it and read it? Is this for your needs, or is this for the Torah needs? Like what's going on here that you're reading it? And
Rashi's asking?
what?
Rashi's asking?
No, just the Gemara. That Rashi is explaining the Gemara. What's you doing that you're reading it?
Okay,
And if you're telling me that it's telling you that you can read it, then we learned later on in the Brisa that it says in Bishvilo Pascha Aser, it's forbidden. You can't do it for yourself. Hamar Pascha V'kar Hachi Kamar. This is what it means to say. Im Kshel Golo Pascha V'kar Bo Mutter. If when you're rolling it, you open it and you read it,
That's fine.
meaning you're just rolling it and you're reading it, that's fine. It's permitted. But if you literally opened it just for your needs, that's forbidden. Simcha says, that if it's a new Sefer Torah, 30 days, every 30 days you gotta roll it. Of an old one, 12 months. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Omer, echad zeh v'echad zeh shnei masar chodesh. Says both are 12 months. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov had a Tanakama. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, what's the thing that's unique? It's the same thing like the Tanakama. The first Tana said you have to roll it out every 12 months. And Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov said, for both new and old, you roll it out every 12 months. So what's he coming to say? Otherwise, he must be saying something, or else he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be in the Brisa unless he was saying something. Ela ema, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, Omer echad zeh v'echad zeh shloshim yom. Rather, we change the text, or we say that this isn't the right text. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov really meant that both for a new Sefer Torah and an old Sefer Torah, you have to roll it out every 30 days.
Really meant?
Meaning, the fact that we see his opinion mentioned here, it must be that it was incorrect to the text that we have.
Wow.
Keep in mind, back then, the way Brises were given, because it was harder. It was written by hand, and people remembered them orally. So sometimes things got mixed up.
Does that comment show up off many times, saying that he probably didn't mean?
Yeah, the Gemara does that a few times.
Yeah.
The Gemara says like this must be a wrong text, because obviously the Gemara,
Everybody's teaming up against other rabbis.
and keep in mind also the Gemara, they wrote in shorthand,
Right.
and they constantly talk about the values of writing short. I mean,
Yeah.
not like writing very just the barest minimum, and they say that that's a great value to do that. Nowadays everybody's writing these massively long, huge. It's very hard to read sometimes, because everyone wants to be clear, and it wasn't such a priority with because the goal is not that you would learn it from the book. The goal is that you take it and discuss it. So that's, learning
Conversely.
happens through collaboration. It
Right.
doesn't happen just through a book. Okay. Moving on. Aval, everyone got it? Aval lo yilmod bo batchila v'lo yikar acharimo. You should not learn, meaning when you have a lost article, say a book, you should not learn from it something new, and another person shouldn't read it with you. Or a minu, but we have a contradiction. Another brisa, lo yikra parsha v'yishne, v'lo yikra bo parsha v'yitargem. You shouldn't read a certain parsha in the Torah and learn and teach it over. V'lo yikra bo parsha, and you should not read a certain parsha in the Torah and translate it. You shouldn't open it more than 3 pages, 3 columns. And 3 people shouldn't read it in 1 volume. What does that imply? It says 3 people shouldn't read it, but what does that imply? That if you're two people, you can.
Yeah.
So, but our Mishnah said that 2 people you can't. So
Yeah.
what's going on? Hashnaim korin, Amar Abaye lo kasha, kan ben yenechad, kan mishnein yonim. This is talking about in 1 topic, 2 people can't learn together. But if 2 people are studying 2 different things in the Torah, that's okay. That's okay because they're not.
Torah.
Right?
Well, 3 different columns different or something?
No. So if we're opening up the Torah
Uh-huh.
and it's it's a lost object, 2 people can't learn from it on 1 column because they're going to start arguing, going to start ripping,
Right.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
But if they're learning 2 different things,
And they're not going to argue.
they're not going to argue. They're not going to be.
They'll find some area.
That's how lawyers operate.
Yes. Matzah ksus minara echad l'shloshim yom. If you find a piece of clothing, you have to shake it out once every 30 days. L'meimra denei maliva. Do we say that shaking clothes out helps them? The Gemara is very confused. It says, "Are you telling me that that's a good thing to take care of your clothes, shaking it out?" But Rabbi Yochanan said, "Mi sheyesh lagarde umen b'soch beiso yinar ksuso b'chol yom." It says that if you have a weaver who's living with you in your house, if you have someone who's constantly making you clothes, you can shake out your clothing every day. Meaning he says, you see Rabbi Yochanan is making these slightly sarcastic statements to teach you lessons. He's going to have more of it later. It's a lot of fun. He says, guys, I have a great idea. If you want to ruin your clothing, make sure you have someone there in the house making you clothing. Shake it out every day. So clearly that's what he said. So clearly what it means is that Rabbi Yochanan telling us, it's a Torah, it's from the Torah tradition, that shaking out clothing is bad.
Yeah.
So why? But the Mishnah says shaking out clothing is good. Amri b'chol yom kashilei echad l'shoshim yom malila. So they say a few different things. Yochanan was talking about every day. Every day it's bad to shake out your clothes. Once every 30 days, it's good.
I go with that one.
For people who love fashion, who love clothes, and this is a good Gemara to learn.
That's right.
Sure.
Doesn't have to be just ladies. Men can care about what
A lot of men do.
A lot of men do.
You should shake out your money. Every 30 days.
Your money?
Yeah.
It's your own suit.
Shake out your clothes.
Yeah.
Everyone see. I think.
$5,000.
Oh, our
Look at
money.
this.
Our money. They said money.
Look at this.
Sorry.
No, our money.
Look at this collar. It's getting curved and whatever.
Yeah.
If only I would have shaken it out.
Shaking out might be better.
That's right.
And every day, I should.
Actually,
You gotta take care of your clothes,
left one's
yeah.
more crooked than your right one.
Yes. Betray that with one person, when you shake it out, it's fine. But betray, if 2 people are shaking out at once, it's not good because they're gonna rip it. They're gonna rip it. It's not good for your clothing. Ibaya Sema, if you want, I'll say lo kasha habiyada habachutra. Shaking it out with your hand is fine, but if you're shaking it out like beating it out with a stick, that's not good. Ibaya Sema lo kasha habita amra habita kisna. That wool. That wool is fine. Wool is sturdy.
Yeah.
But with linen,
Right.
no good.
I just want to see because it'll bring up the type of clothing. No.
Exactly. So if you have that type of clothing, it's very delicate. You shouldn't shake it out. Rabbi Yochanan now. So now we're going to get into a bunch of statements by Rabbi Yochanan, who about health, about finances.
So if I find one of your shirts, what do you want me to do with it?
Depends what kind
Shake
it
it
is.
out or?
So one of his linen shirts or one of
Take
his
it to
wool
the
shirts?
cleaner.
Give it to the cleaners. Give it a good iron.
Give it a press.
Hey, you want my shirt now? I lost my shirt. Someone take it to the cleaner.
Yeah.
So
How can I beat it with a?
Yeah.
Shake out the wool, the moths on the wool.
It's like Chagadia. And the clothing came and strangled the cat, and the stick came and hit the clothing.
That's real dirty clothing.
So now we're going to get into a bunch of statements from Rabbi Yochanan teaching us, we're very practical. This is why I like the Gemara, because the rabbis here are real people. They're trying to live healthily. They're trying to live in a good, trying to make sense with their finances. Also, make sure everything is in order. This is Rabbi Yochanan. He said that. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Kisei decharishin v'lo kisei deproshrin. Rabbi Yochanan says, I would rather drink a cup of a drink that was cursed by witches, rather than drink a cup of lukewarm water, because he says that's bacteria. He says in lukewarm water, there's a lot of bugs that are. There's a lot. I don't know if he had bacteria, but apparently he was saying that wasn't so healthy to drink lukewarm water.
Does he actually say witches here?
Yeah, well, kisei decharshin means it was black magic, meaning back then I think it was still but anyway, it's very damaging, but not a lukewarm water.
Yeah.
Apparently he didn't. I mean, nowadays we have chemicals in our water,
Oh, yeah,
but
we do, yeah.
back and it's
Back then, people
it's treated, but back
didn't
then,
you just
drink
boil
any
it.
but water back then.
yeah,
Just boil
I
it.
do think there was this hocus, some guy is selling raw water. Some guy is saying, I'm getting it from the river and the lake, it's raw, it's not,
Ooh.
it's actually full of bacteria that he's selling it for I don't know, $10 a
Really?
gallon or something.
Full of a lot of stuff besides bacteria.
Yeah, it's pretty horrid, every day is this new, it's not backed up by science or anything at all, but it feels like you're connecting to the universe or whatever.
Coconut water. Yeah.
Right, I mean, so back then, when you were getting your water from the lake or whatever, if it was lukewarm, it wasn't good. So, below Amar and El Bichli Matchas, it says only if you're drinking it with a metal vessel. Aval Bichli Cheres Lasan Ba, but with a clay vessel, it's fine. Below Amara Ela Delot Savitz. Oh, it's only when you do not boil the water beforehand.
Right.
Aval the Tavitz Lasan Ba, but if you boiled it, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, here we have, 1,500 years before
He's a good-
Louis Pasteur,
One campaign on
with pasteurizing, he's saying you should boil your water.
Yeah.
The Gemara has everything.
So when was this?
This was this is 500 CE,
Wow, that's really
You should
amazing.
boil it.
Yeah.
Hence, we see the superiority of Talmud over science.
Oh.
Maybe that's where Pasteur got it.
Yeah, baby. Pastor was learning Gemara. Yeah, you got it from Rabbi
He
Yochanan.
borrowed the Torah and was learning with it.
Of course.
Right, yeah.
Then he
I
took
mean,
the
Found the
credit.
lost story.
I
Yeah.
don't know, but we do see that that there was some sense that if you boil water beforehand,
That was-
it's healthier.
And the way he's saying it, it's like this was already well known.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
reminding
Right.
people to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it's pretty interesting
Wow.
history of medicine.
Wow.
There must have been some sort of common knowledge that boiling was better.
Apparently,
How
the
about-
Egyptians had a real good book on health, and maybe they took it with them. So they had it for a long time.
Right. I mean, I think things were they had medicine back then. I mean,
Yeah.
I think things were some things were well known.
But that's a real leap to me, because you would have to know that from experience that drinking boiled water is okay, and you would see the difference between people who drank unboiled water and those who drank boiled water. You would have to see that there's a
Well, I think it would actually be
I bet
be
they
seen
did see
that if you boil water, whoever's in there, whatever's in there, goes. It's dead. It goes
Yeah,
away.
killing it.
So I think just using that, if there's something in the water, boiling it would get rid of it. I think. I mean, look, if it's the same typological thinking that led people to think, bloodletting was okay. Okay, the disease is in your blood, it's in your body. Let's get rid of some blood, and you'll be okay. So if there's things in the water that we don't want, let's boil them out where nothing can live.
But that idea, I mean, Pasteur, before Pasteur, people didn't know that there were things in the water that could cause illness, right?
Let's say to read the Talmud.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think they knew
I'm
that.
not-
I don't think
I'm
they
not
knew to
sure.
that detail.
Yeah.
Right,
But
they disrespect.
I think you heat something up, enough, you can kill it, and especially a small organism, stuff like that. I mean, I think it would be probably just
Empiric
kind of a
information.
general, and
There's
then
empiric information from experience. People get sick.
Yeah, because I mean, people didn't know that there were small organisms in the water. And I mean, I'm
They
not talking
couldn't see.
I'm not talking about
Right,
visible
you're talking about
bugs. I'm
microbes.
talking about microbes.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think they
see
knew
them,
that.
but
I don't think they were thinking about that, but yeah, so they were
I mean, maybe visible.
maybe
bugs.
visible bugs.
Oh, visible. Oh.
So yeah, and then he says, "Avaloman el lo shada beit tzivia, aval shada beit tzivia less lanba." He says it's only dangerous when you aren't throwing in spices, into the water or different things to flavor the water. But if you throw it in there, it's not dangerous.
So you throw
Huh?
spices into the
You
water,
certain
the water?
grasses, certain spices,
kills the bacteria.
Oh, certain,
Could
certain
be.
yeah, it would, yeah.
right?
What would they kill if you have visible bugs in the water
You could pull those
and you
out.
threw those, put spices in? Would
Yeah.
that kill? If you had a
Well,
baby cockroach in your water.
Oh, that's
well, if you had visible bugs, you definitely can't eat it. It's forbidden to eat bugs. Like if you see a bug, you're not supposed to eat it. Right? So he probably moving it out. So if there's something like dirt or whatever it was in the water that they were scared of, apparently spices,
would take care of it.
I mean, they must have had some sort of observation that when people would drink like water straight from, the source, they would get sick.
Yeah.
They must have said, okay, this guy's
That's right.
Well, I'm sure people did get sick. I mean,
Yeah.
they noticed.
I'm sure,
that.
yeah,
They didn't know
yeah.
exactly what
Certain
caused
spices
it.
would,
maybe.
Right.
Right.
But then you could see other things like
Coumarin.
you guys said, discoloration or different other things in the water, and you might find out that that's bad.
Sometimes the
Agreed.
most
I mean,
clear water is the most
over
Boiling
thousands
wouldn't
of
change-
years
but
of
boiling
experience.
wouldn't change that, right?
I don't
Boiling
know.
wouldn't change the color.
Maybe not.
Probably not. Probably
But
not.
I imagine there was some kind of
Filtrate.
experience, like
This
you
is
drink some
amazing.
bad
You'd
water.
have to
People
filter
drink
to
bad
change the
water, they
color.
get sick. They do it now sometimes, but you figure that out, and maybe, maybe it starts off as an experiment.
Right.
Let's heat it up and see if we can, whatever's making us sick, heat it up and maybe remove impurities or whatever the thought was, and then they found out that it was safe. I mean, some kind of like general experiment without knowing the details.
Yeah.
Well, is that the basis for every fruit we eat
Microbiological,
too, right?
whatever.
Some people ate it and found out if it was poisonous or not,
Yeah.
or it was
Mhm.
edible, right?
Yeah,
Every single
poisonous
thing
berries. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
I'm sure people ate
Yeah.
them, and
was- Well, I'm not having that beer.
it looks good. They don't eat
Did I
those.
learn you?
Yeah,
Joe just fell asleep.
people
but he
did
left
have
it out.
those observational
Yeah.
powers. I mean,
Yeah.
they knew it. They weren't. Yeah, I'm sure they weren't like the savages or
It's more
like,
empirical than scientific.
people knew
right?
people knew how to
I
observe
think that's what the
things.
bottom line is.
It's just that sometimes they
It's amazing, but.
Well, then later with like microscopes and stuff, like people would study things that they already knew something about, and then they could find out, on a detailed level exactly what was in there, what was causing the interactions, and stuff like that. I mean, I imagine, you don't necessarily have to know exactly what's going on to know that it's bad, that it causes, you
You'll
see
have to know
cause and
how to know
effect
why.
and different things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
right. All right, so let's. Well, now we're going to get into finances, financial advice from Rav Yochanan. But Amar Rav Yochanan, Misha hiniach lo aviv mo. Suppose your father left you a lot of money, harbe, a lot of money, and you want to get rid of it. You see the way he's doing this
Sure.
in a way.
I
He's
heard
being
it.
sarcastic again?
He's learning
$10
in a.
million and just
This is a great title. What should you do if you want to get rid of your money? This is like a BuzzFeed article right here.
Give it to the rabbi.
Give it to the rabbis. Yeah.
That's what he's about to say. Right?
There was a. Like sometimes it's all in the title. Someone wrote an article about meat and milk, and the title was what was it? How come we don't have to kosher our teeth? Because we eat meat and milk. And I was like,
Oh.
so if we just said this in an article about meat and milk, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But it's like, okay, whatever. But like he did it from the notion of how come we have teeth eating the same meat and milk, and how come? And so it was very interesting, and I thought it was really cool. I mean, he actually brought down some sources that the rabbis who struggled with this, they said, like, it can't be. But whatever, it's all in the title. So this is his title. What do you want to do if you want to lose your money? Yobash big day fishdon, you should wear flax clothes. Bishtamish b'chalei zchuchis, Flax, that's linen. That's the
but I'm
proof.
curious.
Vishtamish b'chli zuchus, you should use glass vessels.
Because they break.
Is it break? As we learned. That's why the Kadosh Baruch Hu broke your salad bowls, so that we could learn and really understand it. V'yiskor Paul and Bal Yeshev Yimayim, and you should hire workers and don't watch them. So
For sure they'll break everything.
they're gonna break everything. They're gonna steal, or if you have a cleaning lady, you should try to be home when she's there. Yobash b'chli fishtan. When he says that you should wear linen clothes, b'chis normi, so he's talking about Roman linen, which is extremely delicate, that's extremely expensive, it's really expensive, and it not only that, it quickly degrades. He's talking about white glass, certain very fragile type of glass, which we all know. Sometimes they're sturdy glass, sometimes. And then you should hire workers and don't sit with them. Targuma, and just on the next page is You're talking about workers especially that drive your ox. Meaning that to work in your fields. He says, watch out because oxes will trample on all of your veggies and everything, and the workers. If you're not there, you're not going to care.
So
they're not going to care.
Why is he saying this? And what's the point of saying this? I mean,
Because the way the Gemara works is that if you come on a statement by someone, you find up other statements that say similar things. It's a stream. Gemara is a stream of consciousness, more than a well-ordered, like Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey. So we talked about Rabbi Yochanan, who talked about how often you should shake your clothes out. And so then the Gemara says, there are lots of other statements by Rabbi Yochanan on how to live well, on how to take care of your property, and on how to be healthy.
okay, so this wasn't a statement, say, by Reb Yochanan in response to this.
Right.
It was somebody else took something else that
Right.
he had said and put it next to something that he had said
Right.
was relevant.
Yes.
Tangent.
So the way,
Okay, tangent,
keep
guys.
in mind,
That makes sense. That
the-
makes sense.
I always go off on tangents.
That I
Exactly.
can see.
Yeah.
so this is, the Gemara is built
That I
to be memorized, or to you should know. Because this is the way memory works. Like you go, okay, the Mishnah said this, it's talking about clothing, shaking out every 30 days. Rabbi Yochanan said you shouldn't shake it out every day. Oh, and Rabbi Yochanan said other things too. He talked about lukewarm waters.
Yeah.
So see, that's the way your memory works.
It is.
So the Gemara, so that's how they learned back then, orally. And it's kind of the way that, I have this book called Ageless Memory, by this Jewish guy who just remembers everything. Answer is he remembers it by association. He just, part of it's very interesting, it says you remember someone's face, it's very easy. You look at Martin's face, you pick out a defining feature, your nose, and then you think, okay, Martin, nose, big
Elephant.
Jewish elephant, and I imagine an elephant on your head, and all of a sudden I remember your name.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Elephant.
I remember or Martin, or marching in an elephant marching on your head, and then I'm marching, elephant, nose, Martin, association. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
That'll help me remember my own name.
Yes. All right, everybody.
All right.
Shkoyach.